Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It is 11:30, so you know what time it is. It is time to get this show on the road. But before we get started, we'd like to welcome you back to What Anna Said podcast.
All right, Elizabeth.
Okay.
You mentioned it earlier when you met your husband and you had Trinity. You had to tell us because I remember you telling me when I had my daughter, I knew that I had to go back to church. There's no other way to raise my daughter.
Yeah.
What season was that for you?
Um, when I first fell in love with my husband, I was instantly happy again. So I knew, right, this is the Lord's will because I let those walls down. So I asked my husband, let's go to church. I want to find my old youth pastor from when I was a kid. I want to go find where he's at and go to church. So we started going to church in an old bank building because that happened to be where he was at. And I asked him to marry us, and he did counseling with us, and it was wonderful. And then he said, right after we got married, he's like, and I'm closing the church. Like, I just found where I'm going. So I was pregnant, and I remember he was closing, and I'm like, it was, gosh. So my husband decided to move us to Arlington. So I wrote the pastor that baptized me at age 7. And his name is Harlan, and I wrote him on Facebook, and I said, where should I go to church? I'm married, I have a kid, I want to be where the Lord wants me. I want a Bible-based church. Yes. Or Baptist Bible, And he's like, well, this one little church called Mid-Cities Bible Church, it's over there by Walmart, go find it, go there. And he said, don't tell anyone yet, but I'm in the running to be pastor there. Oh, I was like, I will go, I will hurry. So I went to Mid-Cities Bible Church. I came in with my kid. She was like less than one. And I remember handing her to the nursery worker, and it was an elderly lady, and I just loved her right from the beginning. She's like, let me have that child. I was like, yay, this is great. And she was like, come back every Tuesday for Bible study. And I'll watch her again. I was like, yes, now I've got 2 days a week I can go to this church. And then my old pastor didn't get to be pastor. He went to Colorado and got chosen there. And so the pastor that came in was perfect for me because I got to be brand new at this church with a new pastor. And then, of course, I went up to all the elders and all the leaders and got to know the leaders. And then went to the leaders' Sunday schools, and then they asked me, come join ladies ministry and help lead. It's like, all right, I want to lead Bible study. So it was pretty quick that I went in and found all the elders of the church and then followed them around. Like, I want to do whatever you're doing. Thanks. And they were like, come on. And they loved it that I brought my daughter, and we would come to church first and early. And while the band was warming up, Trinity would run around on the front row dancing, as a baby. And so I would just love it that we were safe there. And guess what? They had forest green carpet. So one time, a little old lady, she was in her 90s, and she spilled her coffee on the front row. She always sat on the front row, and she spilled her coffee. And I remember telling one of the elders, I'll come clean it this week. I have a carpet cleaner. I can clean that up. And he's like, okay, we'll let you. We don't have a carpet cleaner. We just have vacuums, whatever. So I remember coming up there, and I was cleaning, and I was singing, and I was the only one around. And it's forest green carpet, my favorite to vacuum and get the perfect vacuum lines, And I remember just singing away, and I told the Lord, I'd love to work at a church. Man, this would be awesome to work here. And then quickly I was like, but I don't have any training for that. I was going into healthcare. I was going into physical therapy and coaching and all this stuff. I had no ministry something. And not even a few months later, the children's ministry lady quit. She took me to lunch, and she said, I pick you to be the next children's director. And I was like, I don't even know. No, what? Like, I didn't go to ministry school. And she's like, no, but I see you lead, and you're leading women's ministry. Would you like to lead the whole kids ministry? And I said, yes. And my husband said, yes, go do that. So in that time that I was children's ministry director, I got an office, like a little nameplate, like slide thing on the door, and then there was 150 kids in all the classes. There was like
Wow.
50 volunteers that I ran through all the classes. So everyone only taught once a month. That's how many volunteers I had.
Wow.
You could just rotate once a month. So it was all blessed by the Lord, but then it was all shepherding. It was all leading. It was all coaching that I had all this health background. Well, it was needed because I had like 7 kids that were allergic to nuts.
Wow.
So I needed all that health background anyway to take care of them safely. So it was really neat how the pastor that baptized me sent me to this church. I went there and got to work there. And then I'll tell y'all when I left there, we had changed names, we had changed pastors. I was still working there, and the new pastor like cut out all the things that made community.
Oh.
And then he hurt my heart and my passion where I didn't want to talk to people. Can you imagine me not wanting to talk to people as the director? I remember someone asked me a question. I was like, I don't even care. And they were like, something's wrong with you. You know, and I was like, I need rest. And then I had got pregnant with Faith, and I was really big. And I worked up to 28 weeks. And then I moved and had her the day I moved. So I quit work, and then I went back to work with her. And I was happy again. And I took her to work with me. And then they hurt my heart again. My passion was just taken away. I was like, I'm all done. I don't want to lead people anymore. So then that's when I went to Cross City and just kind of hid in a giant church. And it's like, cool, just feed me. I need a rest. Right. So I went and rested. And then they's like, okay, come and work in children's ministry. I was like, no. So I went and taught ladies first, ladies Bible study, and then slowly was healed enough to go right back into children's ministry. Wow. So here I am in children's ministry, teaching the word all the time, every week. I love it. And very healthy.
Oh my goodness.
I know, long story. It had more forest green carpet. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
We love forest green. That's hilarious. I didn't know it's throughout my whole life like this. Okay.
And so when coming back to Cross City, Elizabeth, first of all, I can't even imagine you're a stranger there.
Oh yeah, me too.
I can't even.
I know.
How dare you want to sit back there and just ignore?
Yeah.
Because when I met you, literally, I thought you ran the church ministry when I met up with you. I didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
Because you were already.
I went to teach the word, and then I always automatically just start leading and hanging out with whoever the pastor is. So whatever situation I'm in, I find the leader and I lead with them or assist them or help them or take over. I mean, and I don't do it on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's instinctive in me.
Yes,
I can walk. Sure. I can walk in a room. Yeah. I didn't know everyone couldn't do this. Do you think in your brain, let me walk in a room and make someone feel special and then walk in and look for them and then go to them and encourage them? That's how I live every day. And I didn't know other people didn't do that. Like,
I definitely am a witness to that. I've seen and experienced it from you myself, and I love it. I love your energy. And it just makes sense that even in your hurt, even in your wandering, even in all those different seasons and times in your life, you still naturally serve shepherd. Mm-hmm. You still find yourself in that place. Even you sharing about going to Cross City, and I'm going to sit in the back and you guys feed me because I'm tired. Right. And before we even started recording, you shared about how when you took your daughter and you saw the worship time that they had, and you were like, I want to do that. I want to do that with the kids. And it's like, because that's who you are. Yeah. Yes. Aside from everything else, that's who you are. That's who you naturally are. And it's a joy for me to see. I could not imagine. It would be a disservice to humanity if you were not operating in your gifts. Yeah. You are a true, like your energy introduces you before you walk into the room. And you really bring joy and life. Yesterday we had the HEB Chamber of Commerce had their ballads. We had an event here at Dos Amores where everyone had a karaoke song and we had a competition and it was just so fun. And Elizabeth definitely opened up the
Yes.
room and gave permission for everyone to just let loose,
Exactly.
come and
Yeah.
have fun. She
Yeah.
taught Kim how to do the two-step.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it showed me I had 2 left feet.
Yeah, right.
My feet are sore.
And so that's exactly who you are, you know, everywhere you are. And I love
Yeah.
that it doesn't change depending on the environment, that
Yeah.
you truly just shine that way. The first time that I met I've been hearing about Elizabeth for years now. Years. I remember when Edna told me about a woman who she shared about a woman that she saw on Facebook praying over the church building before going in, praying over the service, praying over everyone that's coming to the church. And I always pictured what that woman would look like, not knowing I would have the honor of meeting her in person myself, and then sharing our lives together and doing life together. And so the first time I met her, she came and did a painting event for the kids,
for the
for the little
champs.
champs. And that was the first time I got to meet Elizabeth and her mom.
Yes.
And instantly I was like, this is her thing.
Yes.
This is her thing. Like, human connection, working with people, talking to children. And I remember when we came, my father and I, we had to work that day, so we weren't able to stay.
Yeah.
But I know Elizabeth's mom was like, I promise you have time. Just sit down. Just take a moment. You know, just paint one thing. And guys, it was my favorite.
Yes.
I had more fun than the kids that day.
Yes, we literally had so much fun. As soon as we walked in, Elizabeth and
Kim
her mom
forgot she was
already
an
had.
instructor that day.
Yeah, I definitely sat down and enjoyed and painted. Okay, she had everything set up for us, from the aprons to cover us so we don't get paint on ourselves, to the canvases and all the different paint colors, brushes, different types of brushes, and she already had everything cut out of what we were gonna make. So it truly was so much fun. We really enjoyed our time. We
It's
really
just so,
did.
it's so therapeutic.
Yes, it really
good. Yeah,
is.
just taking that. You don't really realize how beautiful that is, just to take that moment and
No,
put
yes.
paint to canvas.
Especially with the busyness, it was like
yes,
like
right.
a breath of fresh air.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's exactly
was
who
nice.
you are personified.
Yes.
Is that. And so this is truly, I love. Every time we do something and Elizabeth's in it, I know we're gonna have a good time.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Always.
right, exactly.
Thank you. Awesome.
And I know, like, just to add on to that, it's not even just a painting, because anyone can do that.
yes.
You know how many painting businesses out there?
Right, yeah.
It's the, like you already said, it's the energy that you guys give off, where you can actually, when Elizabeth tells you don't worry, I'm not worried.
Yeah,
I'm not worried. She says,
Because I was worried at
relax, I
first.
got it. You got it. Because I'm someone who naturally helps. It's hard for me not to help.
Yeah.
And so when I've learned through you that when you got it, I'm like, oh, I can really sit here. And so that is what you give off when you are bringing your business, when you which is by Paint by Designs. And so that's the reason why they were able. That's why Kim forgot she was an instructor that day. That's why Anna was like, wait, I do have time. Okay, let me not go and work. I can do this. It's because of who you guys are, and it just showed through.
Yeah. Art is transformative, and it gives you a clarity break, and it gives you peace. And all the times that in my life that I've had anxiety, I noticed that I journal in colors. And so I can look back at my prayers in colors and see my anxiety come out, and then color through it to heal.
Yeah.
And so it's nice now that we have a business that I'm showing my journals, like stuff I painted to heal when I left that church and I stopped working as the director and I went home, and then I didn't have hundreds of people to lead. I colored in my journal and colored and colored. And that's when I found forgiveness and forgive others. And I forgave myself for quitting something that I loved. And then the Lord healed me and put me on a new path. He's like, well, you still have ministry to do. Oh, okay. But you can heal first and then do it again.
Right.
And so the Lord's always taken me through seasons of anxiety using art and using color and using his word. And so I journal in my Bible. And Bible journaling, I have a Bible for 10 years now I've colored in. And I brought it right into my business. So Paint by Designs is my own business. So I'm able to share my faith. I'm able to share my Bible. I'm able to lead devotionals saying, here's how to pray through anxiety. Let's paint together. And, you mentioned your anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety and I had to pray through it. And that's how I knew to help Edna when she said I had anxiety. I'm like, oh, I've been there. I showed her, here's my anxiety prayers. Here you go. Here's what it looks like when I poured out my heart and like colored in tears. And so it was like, do this, color in tears, or write this down. I'm writing this today. This is helping me. So we went through anxiety together a lot. I mean, like through COVID, we hit the anxiety at the same time, trying to care for our families and like just making sure they survived. And we were in survival mode. So we had to flip that to thrive. And we learned together to stand strong, to stand. Oh, we learned to stand. We had words of the year. And every time I hear her word, I still cry. Every time I hear you say stand, I'm like, oh, we did that together. You know, like my word was anchor for 2 years because I had it for 1 year. And then the next year I asked the Lord for a new word. He's like, no, you didn't really get this. So anchor is again, like I wanted you to anchor into me and you thought it was anchor all, and no. So I learned a lot through us doing our life together.